Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
We are back with episode 326 of the Online Success Journey. Our guest today is a successful entrepreneur who is excited to share the very step they took to build their business. And you'll want to subscribe right now and ensure you'll never miss a journey like this one. Today we have Diane Tarshis, a seasoned business advisor and the founder of Startup Distillery, working with entrepreneurs to distill their ideas into profitable, growing businesses. Hello, Diane.
Hi, Patience. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. My audience are excited to hear your story, but just start by telling us one thing we are going to learn from you today that will help us on our journey to success.
I think the one thing that everyone will learn, I hope they will learn, is that anyone can be an entrepreneur. So there is no special magic. There are no special qualities that you absolutely must have other than being able to put in the effort and the work and to do your homework.
I can't wait to hear more about that. But let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my audience a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own business?
Okay. Well, I grew up in a family where my father worked for department stores. And so we moved a lot, sort of like being an army brat. We were, I guess, department store career brat. So I lived all over the U.S. I think I found that whole business very intriguing. And so when it was time for me to go to college, I knew I wanted to study business and got my undergraduate degree at the Wharton School, focusing on entrepreneurship and finance. And when I left, well, actually, before I left, I worked for a research center on campus that allowed students to do small business consulting with Philadelphia area business owners. And that is really where I caught the entrepreneurial bug. So this research center was a joint venture between the school and the U.S. Small Business Administration, the SBA. And the whole idea was to collaborate with quote unquote adults who had the sort of practical life experience and combine that with the students' theoretical knowledge. So that was where all of this began for me. And when I graduated, I first decided I wanted to beef up my financial skills. And so I worked on Wall Street for an investment bank, did that for several years in New York, and then decided to get a life. And I left New York and moved here to Chicago, Illinois, and worked for a large department store retailer doing operations work. So helping make things more efficient, more profitable, etc. Worked in a buying office there, and then moved to a small manufacturer here and dealt again with the operations side as well as financial treasury work. And then got married, decided to try for some more balance in my life, had some children, and started my business, Startup Distillery. So this is where I went back to my roots back when I was a student and started working with people who wanted to become entrepreneurs and build successful businesses. So that's my background.
Wow. What a background, Diane. Wow. Why do you do what you do?
I love the variety. There is something new with every project. There is always something new that I learn from my clients. And then I guess on the flip side, there is this deep satisfaction in helping people turn their dreams into reality. And there's nothing like it. I just love it.
Let's put man aside. How do you know you are successful?
I know I'm successful when I do just that. I help my clients turn what's in their head into reality. So, when they've got growing, profitable businesses, then I know I've taught them well and I've done my job.
Wow. Here you talk about many women struggle to get their businesses started, especially those that have a balance with motherhood and entrepreneurship. What is
Yes.
your tip for them?
Those, it's, I think, as many women know, and certainly plenty of men, being a parent is very time consuming. It's not the only pursuit that takes up a lot of time, but I think whether it's related to parenting or not, it's very easy to make an excuse that you don't have time to start a business. And that is just, it's simply not true. It's an excuse. I I say, you can do it if you can commit 15 minutes a day. It's not that it's going to happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. But if you can, set aside time every day, just 15 minutes a day, you will make progress. Some days those 15 minutes turn into an hour. Sometimes it's just the 15 minutes, but that consistency and that momentum keeps you moving forward. And so that's kind of the idea that I start with when I've got clients who are feeling very overwhelmed. And that, whether it's combined with having someone to hold you accountable or not, there are other little things that you can do to help help make it happen. So
Tell my audience about the magic moment, the day it suddenly all went right for you.
that it went right for me.
Yes.
Boy, I I don't think I have an answer for that. I mean, there are little magic moments in my life, personally and professionally, but honestly, nothing comes to mind. I have to say.
What have you learned from business as a whole?
What I have learned is that change is really the only constant. So, um, I, in order to deal with that, I think doing your homework, which means um, um, asking questions, asking for help, doing research, talking to people. There are many elements of that, but doing your homework and constantly learning, and also being a really good listener are extremely important, with the goal being that whenever you make a decision, it's one that is informed and educated, as opposed to what I consider to be the opposite, which is winging it. Winging it leads to disaster, and you don't want to do that.
Wow. In your intro, you mentioned that anyone can be an entrepreneur. But can anyone really be an entrepreneur? Because we seem that some of the people are more cut for it than others.
I think it really depends on the I think it's about a level of commitment, honestly. Different people have different skills. And no one has all the skills that are required. You can't do this in a silo all by yourself, without the help of others. Whether that means hiring employees or not, that's a different issue. But you need to work with others in one way or another. And so the idea is to get help from those who have skills in areas where yours aren't so strong. So that is that homework that I was talking about. Speaking to other people, doing research, collaborating with others, partnering with others, perhaps hiring others depending on the type of business. But understanding what your strengths and weaknesses are can help you in terms of building a business that can be successful. But, you really have to be honest with yourself. And part of that, that's why people hire me to help them with some of those things, or simply as an accountability coach or for a particular skill set. Lots of people have, numbers phobias. They hate numbers and they want somebody to help them or to do it for them. I may do it for them, but I also teach them so that they can understand, what the numbers are. Same with operations, or how to think about their business in terms of, what problem they're solving. So I do think anyone can be an entrepreneur. You just have to really understand your strengths and weaknesses.
What are you still doing in the way you work that you just know you have to stop doing?
In the way that I work, that's a good question. There are things I don't like to do. And so, I really try to outsource that and, get others who enjoy it to, take on those functions.
Entrepreneurs need to set clear business plans, financial projections, revenue goals, and how can they plan to hit these financial targets. I think people get really scared. You're talking about setting goals, revenues. They haven't started. I think if someone reads that, they'll be like, oh, I don't think I'm going to start this at all. So how can we really get those people out there to really be confident and they come on the line and start their business?
I think one of the most important things that a brand new entrepreneur needs to do is to get out there and talk to people. So I would say a lot of entrepreneurs think that they need to keep their ideas a secret. And I've got a secret that I'm going to share with everyone, which is nobody cares what your idea is because nobody wants to put the effort in. If it's something that you're passionate about, then that's your thing, but other people aren't necessarily passionate about the same thing. So the idea is to get out there and talk to people and learn from others and get help from others. So as an example, with the numbers and coming up with revenue projections, yes, that seems totally intimidating at the beginning. But the whole idea is that as you're doing your customer research, and you're doing your competitive research, there were all of these steps that come before that. Doing your financial projections is not the first step. The first step is doing, I think of businesses and starting a business as in terms of a business plan. So there's the narrative, the words, and then there's the numbers, the projections. And the words drive the numbers. So the whole idea is to define what you want your business to do. What are you going to do and how are you going to do it? And what is the problem that you're solving for paying customers? That is the number one question you need to answer. So it's not what problem are you solving, because there are problems that you can solve that nobody will pay for in terms of the solutions. So what problem are you solving for paying customers? And that involves examining, the marketplace, talking to potential customers. And if that means, if it's something maybe food related, that means standing outside your local grocery store and talking to customers as they walk out, or observing behavior as they're walking the aisles in the grocery store, or talking to distributors that deliver to the grocery store. I mean, there are all of these elements where you just need to talk to people to really, really understand the business, the industry, and what it is you want to do and how you want to do it. And all of that will then lead to a more informed way of thinking about how you're going to come up with what your revenue projections might be. So it might be a matter of talking to others who have done something in a similar business, or it might be a matter of talking to, with the grocery store example, talking to one of the buyers at your local grocery store to find out, how do they bring in new vendors, and what do they buy, or talking to others who have had an online business and seeing what their startup trajectory was like. So again, that's more talking to people and doing research. And then another important point is projections are just that, and they're never going to be right. They're never going to be 100% correct. The whole idea is to come up with reasonable estimates that are grounded in this information that you've gathered from all of these sources and all of this homework that you've done.
If you could rerun the first year of your business, what would you definitely know to do?
That's an easy one for me. When I started my business, I only wrote business plans. So this is over 20 years ago, because that was a big part of what I had done when I was working for that joint venture with the SBA. But what I later discovered is that people really needed help both before getting to the stage of needing a business plan, and also after they had a business plan when they needed help implementing it. So I added this one-on-one consulting element, but it took me a few years to figure out that I should be offering that as part of my services. So I wish I had done that from the get-go.
What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
My love and respect.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
The kindness and generosity of others. People are, I've had so many people in my life who have been so generous with their time and their support and their interest and advice and knowledge. So, yeah.
How do you manage the anxiety between setting a goal and watching the numbers as you try to reach?
Well, there were different elements to that. I'm laughing because I'm thinking, well, I manage the anxiety in terms of, so exercise, physical activity, and then also, frankly, working really hard. So being anxious about succeeding is a wonderful motivator for working hard.
What grounds you?
My family, for sure.
Do you have mentors in your businesses?
I do have mentors, and those are the ones that I was referring to or thinking of when I was talking about their generosity. So,
what is the most valuable thing your mentors has told you?
Oh boy, they've taught me so much over so many years that I'm not sure if there's any one particular thing that comes to mind. I think maybe it's not that they didn't explicitly teach me this, but I think I learned by example how important it is to pay it forward. So one of the things that I ended up doing for the pre-COVID was teaching co-teaching a high school entrepreneurship course, which was incredibly gratifying and fun. So high school students are incredibly creative and motivated and energetic. But I think the whole idea of just paying it forward and sharing time and knowledge.
What is the most important question to ask someone who's bought from you?
I think it's important to ask, I like to find out what made them purchase, whatever it is that they've purchased. So, what is it that they need? What is it that they are looking to accomplish? So, well, it depends. So, for me, I like to know how it is I can help. So, what it is they're looking to accomplish.
What is one thing no one knows about you?
Boy, not many people know that I am amazing at playing horse, which is a basketball game. So,
wow.
Yeah. That's one of the family secrets.
Let's talk about your business. Tell us more about it.
My business, Startup Distillery, is designed for entrepreneurs at the earliest stages. So whether it's the idea stage or they've just gotten started and realize they're getting stuck and they need help figuring out how to develop the right path, the right series of steps, the right roadmap for turning their idea into a profitable, growing business. So they don't want to waste time and money by making a whole lot of mistakes with trial and error. They want to attempt to do it right the first time. Those are my ideal clients, and those are the people who tend to get in touch with me. Either they're new to entrepreneurship or some have already started a business, but it hasn't been as successful as they wanted. And so they come to me, whether it is working one-on-one to develop this roadmap of how to build the business, or they come to me because they want a custom business plan, which has those words and numbers that we were talking about. Or others contact me even if they have a limited budget. I have what I call a DIY kit, which is a do-it-yourself business plan kit called Distilling Your Dream, the step-by-step kit for business plans. And it's got everything that I've learned over the last 20 plus years in there, along with templates, and that include both for the word portion and the financials. And it really is step-by-step, all written in plain English for $199, so very manageable for many. And that's what my business is about, really trying to help people turn their dreams into reality. So I work very collaboratively, and I'm not telling people what to do. I'm listening and teaching and guiding, and holding them accountable in terms of keeping up the momentum and moving forward and sharing my knowledge and experience, frankly.
Where do we find your product and how can we connect with you?
You can find me at startupdistillery.com. And that's where you can find information about my services, both for business plans and one-on-one consulting and the DIY kit. You can also sign up for my monthly newsletter, which has practical advice that I'm giving my clients. That's at startupdistillery.com/subscribe. And you can learn all kinds of things. And I also have audio versions of all of my blog posts. So you can find that on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and any podcast platform.
Thank you. There will be more from Diane in a moment. If you are listening to this on a podcasting platform and you're encouraged by Diane's journey, please go to our website at onlinesuccessjourney.com. The site has tons of audio clips from hundreds of successful entrepreneurs' guests' journeys, all there to help you find a path for your own online success journey. The site offers exclusive members-only content, and you can join absolutely free and be part of this amazing online success community today. Check it out. That's onlinesuccessjourney.com. Now, Diane, I would love for you to share more with my audience if you are up for it.
Sure.
Thank you. Do you like to watch movies or read books?
I like both. I am a huge movie fan. If I hadn't done this, sometimes I wonder if I should have gone into the entertainment industry. I love film, and I also love reading. So both.
We have to pick one.
I can't. Yeah, if no, really depends. I'm sorry.
Tell us, what is your favorite movie that has some relevance to being an entrepreneur?
Honestly, I keep this running list in my head of like my top 5 or 10 movies, but none of them are business related. So, so maybe you're forcing me into the book category, which I can answer.
Okay.
Because there is a book that I love. It's by Chris Guillebeau, and it's called The $100 Startup. And I read it and loved it because it makes it clear how accessible entrepreneurship is, and that anyone, if they put their mind to it and are willing to, put in the time and effort, can be an entrepreneur. So I love that one. I have a runner-up, if you're interested, of another one that I like.
Yes.
There's a book by a guy named Andy Crestodina. He's actually local here in Chicago, and he wrote a book called Content Chemistry, and it's about content marketing. And I found it to be a revelation when I read it years ago. It explained what the theory is, not in an entertaining way, not a dry way, about content marketing and how it all works. So I love that.
If your business was down to its last $100, how would you invest it?
Sales and marketing. It's all about getting the customers in.
If you are going to keep a note to yourself in your handbag every day, what would be written on it?
It's funny that you ask me that, because I have this, I don't know, it was something that I cut out of a magazine many years ago, and I actually had it laminated, and I keep it in my office, and it has these statements. And so there are 3 of them. Trust your instincts, ask tough questions, and go against the grain. And so I don't keep it literally in my pocket, but figuratively, yes, I do.
Okay. What is your next chapter?
My next chapter, what's funny is I am at a next chapter. My children have finally flown the nest, and I am an empty nester now. And so I am at the stage where I can finally expand my business. I've been holding back for 20 years. And so this next chapter is really all about growth and expansion for me.
Do you feel like you succeeded, or like you're only on the way?
Oh, that's easy. Only on the way. Do we ever feel like we've succeeded? I don't know.
Over 20 years, you have never had some success?
Oh, that's a different question. I've had success, but do you feel like like I've arrived,
Yes.
and I'm there? There is no there.
Will you ever stop?
I think I just sort of answered that. I think the answer is no, because when you feel like you've arrived, then you're kind of, I don't know, stopping. I don't.
You start packing your bags again.
Yeah, exactly.
Remind us how we can connect with you.
Come visit me at startupdistillery.com. You can see how to get in touch with me, and I before we end this, and you may want to edit it out, but I have to say, Patience, a couple of days ago, you posted something that I saw on LinkedIn where you said, finding your path is easy if you're following someone who knows the way. Well, I know the way. I want to help you for a smooth path, So I completely agree. Why waste time? So come visit me, startupdistillery.com.
Thank you. Diane, it's been great to have you to share your online success journey with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
You are welcome. Remember, success is a journey. Don't wait. Let's start the journey. Patience and Diane.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to Patience and her guest, and want you to know there are hundreds of episodes available at onlinesuccessjourney.com. Patience would like to thank you for listening to the podcast, and she has a free gift for you on our website, including an audio compilation of her guests' best tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. Additionally, there are special clips of over 250 episodes that have never aired on the podcast, and they're only available to members of the Online Success Journey. Check the website and click on Join Now to get free and instant access. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed on your favorite platform to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the online success journey and listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review the podcast at iTunes and other sites. We appreciate your help and your willingness to share your journey. One last thing. If you're feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed on your own journey, Patience can help. Check out her course on clarity while you're at the website. Finding clarity is a great way to get back on the right path. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.